Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It's Wacky and Weird Wednesday, so let's find out what news has been happening probably this whole month, last week, this week, every week. The weird stuff that nobody's talking about, and maybe even the impressive stuff. Today on Before Coffee, extinct echidna filmed after 62 years. The whole team was overjoyed.
And today on Squeal of Fortune, we look at the people who have already squealed. Georgia prosecutors seek emergency protective order in Trump case after confidential video disclosure.
Race to host EU's money laundering watchdog hots up.
Senate panel takes a step towards ending the blockade of military promotions. And in weird news, the world's most dangerous bird is sighted in Australia.
Study reveals Stone Age babies belonging to tribes may have received better parenting.
Those stories and more, which is National Bundt Cake Day, November 15th, 2023 edition of Before Coffee.
Okay, first news story. This is my wacky weird news. Very short, but it's wacky and weird, or interesting, I guess. A group of international science made images of the Edinburgh fur hedgehog for the first time during an expedition to New Guinea. After more than 60 years, this has also been proven that the animal species is not extinct, as feared. The only known specimen of the species was a stuffed animal in the collection of naturalists in Leiden. This was supplied in 1961 by a Dutch researcher. Only after careful research did it become clear in 1998 that it was a completely unique species, not a copy of an already known echidna variant. The species was then named after biologist and nature programmer David Attenborough, known from the TV series Planet Earth. Echidnas, of which fur urchins are a subspecies, are a remarkable animal species with spines like a hedgehog, a snout like an anteater, and feet like a mole. Together with the platypus, they are also the only other colloquial animals, egg-laying mammals. The species now found is approximately 30 centimeters long and weighs around 5 kilos. The 1-month Cyclops expedition to the mountain range of the same name in Indonesia, Papua, was aimed, among other things, at finding this shy creature. A wildlife camera eventually captured 4 3-second moving images of it. It was the last memory card from the last camera we checked on the last day. Of course it was, right? Expedition leader James Kempton told the BBC, "The whole team was overjoyed." Kempton has now also informed a 96-year-old namesake for this animal is still roaming around on the other side of the world. He was extremely pleased. In addition to the echidna, the expedition also found a bird species that had not been seen for 16 years, and the researchers discovered dozens of new insects, frogs, and land-dwelling shrimp. Let's see if I can share this video with you real quick, because I do have the means to do so. So you can see the 3-second, I open this in a new tab? If it's not, we'll just zoom in. Let me zoom in. There we go. Zoom into the pic and the video. Here we go. Alright. So we transition over here, and here's the video after the thing goes away. Alright. There it is, the little, what was thought to be an extinct echidna, just walking around like this. And they have a lot of cameras. They have like 15 different cameras following this echidna as it roams around on the forest floor. What they thought was extinct and gone forever. And they only had a stuffed example of, and it was here all along. Amazing. So that's our echidna. On to your news story.
Okay. Right. So in American legal news, it's from ABC News. Olivia Rubin, Georgia prosecutors seek emergency protective order in Trump case after confidential video disclosure. ABC News was was the first news agency to play these videos, so let's go with their story. The Georgia prosecutors who previously, actually the Washington Post got the videos, but they don't have their own TV network. Although they do have a video YouTube channel. The Georgia prosecutors who previously indicted former President defendant J. Trump have asked a judge to issue emergency protective order to guard the evidence in the case, just hours after videos of the confidential interviews with 4 defendants were obtained by news organizations. These are the 4 defendants who have already squealed on our Squeal of Fortune. On November 13th, 2023, confidential video recordings of proffers conducted by the state with certain witnesses pursuant to guilty plea agreements were published by ABC News and other media outlets. The Tuesday filing from the Fulton County District Attorney Office says ABC News was first to report the portions of the videos exclusively obtaining, showing Fulton County prosecutors confidentially interviewing 2 attorneys, Sidney Powell and Jenna Ellis, who helped Trump try to overturn the 2020 election results. Ellis and Powell were originally indicted along with Trump and 16 others this summer on charges they worked to overturn the state's election results. Both later took plea deals, allowing them to plead guilty and reduce charges in exchange for their cooperation. The Washington Post later reported on those proffer videos in addition to other defendants who also took deals, Kenneth Chesborough and Scott Hall. In the interviews, Ellis told prosecutors she was informed at a 2020 White House Christmas party by one of Trump's top aides, Dan Scavino, that Trump is not going to leave under any circumstances. And he said to me in a kind of excited tone, "Well, we don't care. We're not going to leave." Oh, Scavino. Well, he sounds like a scumbag. Ellis said of the alleged December 19 conversation with Scavino, "All I said was, 'What do you mean?' And he said, 'Well, the boss,' and everyone understood the boss. That's what we call them. And he said, 'The boss is not going to leave under any circumstances. We are just going to stay in power.'" Ellis said she told him, "Well, it doesn't quite work that way, you realize." And he said, "We don't care." The videos obtained by ABC News do not appear to depict Ellis and Powell's full proffer sessions, but rather appear to be excerpts that total nearly an hour and a half. A spokesperson for the Fulton County District Attorney did not respond to requests for comment on the report. Attorney for Ellis and Powell declined to comment when reached by ABC News. Scavino also did not respond to requests for comment. The state, in its new motion, denied any involvement in the video release and said the material had been turned over to the numerous defendants in the case as part of the discovery process. They said they would no longer hand out copies of the videos as part of the discovery process and would instead offer viewings in their office. The state further claimed the release was clearly intended to intimidate witnesses in this case, subjecting them to harassment and threats prior to trial. The state had originally asked for protective order in September, though was never ruled on because the judge, I don't know, had better things to do apparently. I don't know. Prosecutors have now asked the judge for a temporary protective order on an emergency basis, blocking the release of any discovery materials in the case pending a hearing in which they are asking for a permanent order. The judge set a hearing on the matter for Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. That's taken action. Later Tuesday, Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis said there will be a trial in her criminal case against Trump that will likely last many months, predicting it won't wrap until the winter or early 2025. That timeline for a trial would mean it could be underway in the heat of the 2024 presidential election. That's too bad. Don't break the law. I believe in that case there will be a trial. I believe the trial will take many months, and I don't expect that it will conclude until the winter or barely a part of 25, she said during a live television interview, part of the Washington Post's Global Women's Summit in Washington, D.C. So that's her story, the latest on the Georgia trial of all of these sniveling losers trying to steal elections. Her story.
Okay. In some more odd news, every country in the EU is racing to be the leader of the new money laundering watchdog. They all want to find the money launderers. I'm not sure if to cover themselves up or to actually for the justice of the economics or whatever. This is from Jack Sickler on Euronews. Heft, geopolitics, and money laundering powers are all coming into play as cities from Madrid to Vilnius jostle for a new agency. A battle to host the EU's anti-money laundering agency is stepping up as 9 rivals face off following the close of applications. It's a bitter fight that is pitting East against West, small against large, and founding members against newer rivals to the bloc, according to numerous sources at Euronews has spoken to. The EU wants to toughen up its dirty money rulebook after a string of banking scandals, but first faces a scrabble over where to put the 400-odd staff who police it and the 10,000 square meters of office space they'll need. Applications closed last week, and candidates include Paris, Frankfurt, Rome, Madrid, Brussels, Vienna, Riga, Vilnius, and Dublin. While the bloc's main institutions are found in Brussels, Luxembourg, and Strasbourg, its 40-odd specialized agencies are dotted throughout its 27 member states, covering everything from space exploration to gender equality, and the opportunity to host these institutions is prized by any of the bloc's countries. The battle to host the EU's medicines and banking authorities, forced to flee London after Brexit, was so tightly fought that the winners had to be selected via a lucky dip. Now there's a similar squabble brewing over at the EU as yet uncredited Anti-Money Laundering Authority, AMLA, which under plans being mulled by legislators will directly supervise dirty money controls at around 40 of the riskiest cross-border financial institutions and keep an eye on high-risk sectors like precious metals and art traders. The EU's biggest member, Germany, made its AMLA pitch based on practicality, saying the new agency should be in Frankfurt so it can work effectively from day one. AMLE should be in a banking center, German Finance Minister Christian Lindner told a Brussels audience on Thursday, I think this was last week, so last Thursday, making his case for the place that's already home to supervisors from European Central Bank. No city is uniquely positioned to foster this kind of collaboration. But if Germany is touting its existing heft, its rivals are arguing the reverse, and it says it's unfair that the oldest and biggest EU members should cheat all the bloc's largesse. Ireland is at the center of Europe in terms of participation, despite being an island at the periphery of it. Jennifer Carroll McNeill, Minister of State in Irish Department of Finance, told Euronews, despite being an EU member for over 50 years, Ireland hosts just one very small EU institution, Labour Market Agency Eurofound, she said, though she acknowledged that her call to put AMLA in Dublin put her at loggerheads with Lindner. The German minister is making a different case to me, a diametrically opposed case, she said. He's saying, let's concentrate that further at the heart of Europe. Bids to host the agency closed late Friday, and policymakers have said that winning candidate must attract top-notch staff. That focus could spell good news for candidates such as Vienna, consistently rated as the world's most livable city. But would-be AMLA locations will also be scrutinized for their own track records in fighting illicit finance. I was about to say, the person who's getting the position better not have any corrupt officials or something. Yeah, I'd take laundering. I love laundering. Parking the agency in a money laundering hotspot would at the very least look bad for the bloc's reputation. That has forced candidates like Lithuania on the defensive. A 2022 report by the Council of Europe's anti-laundering unit, Moneyval, threatened to issue a formal warning to the Baltic nation after finding it wasn't registering accountants and estate agents in line with international norms. But that's not the whole story. Euronews was told by Finance Minister Gintare Skaiste. She says the green, digital, and talented city of Vilnius is the ideal AMLA home. Lithuania already brushed up its rulebook for cryptocurrencies and has a further anti-laundering bill set to be introduced this parliamentary session, the minister told Euronews, meaning that Moneyval's opinion could soon be out of date. She also cites a rival study by think tank the Basel Institute on Governance, which puts Lithuania among the 10 lowest risk AML countries in the world, alongside Denmark and Andorra. Nearby countries have been embroiled in recent money laundering scandals. A few years ago, Latvian bank ABLV liquidated after the United States Treasury badged it as one of the money laundering concerns, while Danske Bank has pleaded guilty and agreed to forfeit $2 billion for illicit payments in Estonia. Skaiste distanced herself from those neighborhoods, but she thinks there's a geopolitical case to pick a Baltic country in the face of Russian aggression. A strong institution, especially working in the field of anti-money laundering, would be a strong signal to the countries bordering Europe, she said. It would show a sign of solidarity and trust in the region. We're part of Europe. Final decisions on AMLA's location must be taken jointly by the Council, which groups EU member states, and by lawmakers at the European Parliament. If EU funding drifted towards the consistencies of those lawmakers holding most sway, that could favor the bid made by another EU big beast, Spain. The country currently chairs the Council's EU presidency and also boasts one of the two MEPs leading the Parliament's work on the new agency, Eva Maria Popcheva. Yet, Spanish officials deny a bias towards their own pick, Madrid, and say they're merely honest brokers in talks on the AMLA law. I don't think at this stage that being in the rotating presidency would provide an extra edge. Carlos Cuporo, Secretary General of the Treasury in Spain, told Euronews. Yeah, of course, the Spanish guy is like, we don't have any edge. We're totally even, guys. You know, it's kind of biased to say, oh no, we're all on the same level, okay? We don't have an edge. There will be a clear separation from our side when we're looking at the candidacy of Madrid. Cupro and Madrid's bid is the strongest overall proposal, implying it can stand on its own merits. But he also says it's high time for the major capital city to finally land an EU institution. The process for whittling down options is going to be complex and fierce. And that's just one of the several ongoing disputes related to patronage in the finance sector. Finance ministers are also locked in a totemic battle over fiscal rules, over who should run the European Investment Bank, a position in which Spain's Nadia Calviño is a leading candidate. Yet both Cupro and Linder deny there will be any overlap between these two already complex negotiations. It should not be part of any kind of bargaining which member state could host AMLA, Linder said. Those are arguments for Frankfurt, which are not connected to any decision we have to make over the next weeks or months. Whoever does take the AMLA crown, there's going to be a lot of sore losers and a lot of showcase office space left bereft. Some are speculating, if only jokingly, what might happen to it. If AMLA doesn't want to use those buildings unmarked for it in Frankfurt, Linder muses that they would make a suitable new home for his own ministry. So they're already like, we already have an office space, dude. Just move in. They haven't picked yet, you know. So there you go. Everyone's fighting over who gets the new shiny toy in the EU. On to your story.
Right. So really a quick story on the military promotion story we've been following as far as one senator holding up promotions. A Senate committee has voted to change the rules, which doesn't happen very often in the Senate. They're going to try to change the rules. The Rules Committee has voted. This is from AP, Mary Clark Jalani. Senate Democrats pushed ahead Thursday with a resolution that would allow for a quick confirmation of hundreds of military nominees in an attempt to maneuver around a blockade from Senator Tommy Tuberville over a Pentagon abortion policy. Almost 400 military nominations are in limbo, and the number is growing due to Tuberville's blanket hold on confirmations or promotions of senior military officers. Despite bipartisan outrage and pressure from members of his own party, the Alabama senator has dug in as he fights the Pentagon to end its abortion policy. It is a stance that has left key national security positions unfulfilled and military families an uncertain path forward. There's been a lot of negativity and dysfunction in the Senate these days, but Senator Tuberville has single-handedly brought the Senate to a new low. Senator Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said at the Senate Rules Committee meeting where the resolution was approved. The panel voted 9-7. Seven Republicans just don't give a shit about the military, apparently, to approve a resolution that would allow the Senate to confirm groups of the military nominees at once for the remainder of the congressional term. It's only a temporary measure. It expires at the end of this Congress. The Senate has traditionally confirmed large batches of military officers together, but that process can be obtained by just one senator who objects. The resolution will not head to the Senate floor for a vote where Democrats need at least 9 Republican votes for passage, while Republicans on the Rules panel oppose the measure, arguing that the move could erode the powers of the majority of the Senate. Some have signaled they might change their minds if Tuberville does not drop the holds before then. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell, who criticized Tuberville's hold before the committee vote, said he would oppose the Democratic revolution at this particular moment. Why? Why oppose it? Makes no sense. Again, military promotions being held up for no good reason. And again, if you think it's no big deal to not have the leaders at certain positions, we're basically trying to help two wars, and we got nobody in charge. Come on, we've got temporary people. Of course, another thing that happens in promotions is families. Like you say, you get promoted, you're living in, say, let's say you're living in California, you get promoted to the Pentagon. All right, I got a new job at the Pentagon. Your wife quits her job at the high school. Your son's the star quarterback. Your daughter's got a scholarship. She's got a debating club. They're all got these things they're doing in their lives. They have to stop what they're doing right as school's about to start. And we're going to move to the Pentagon. But wait, we're not moving because your promotion's been held up. So everybody's in limbo. These are 400 stories, 400 people, 400 families, and this one useless piece of crap is holding up these promotions. And on to our weird story. World's most dangerous bird emerges from ocean, stunning onlookers. Not a very long story. This is from Emily May Zakor of CBS News. An enormous creature considered by some to be the world's most dangerous bird shocked beachgoers in Bengal Bay in northeastern Australia as it rose from the water and shook itself off, the Queensland government said in a news release. Called a cassowary, the towering flightless bird is a related, somewhat similar appearance to an ostrich or emu. It can grow to be as tall as a human person, as opposed to a non-human person. One of the three surviving species of cassowaries in the world, only three of these suckers survive. Only one, the southern cassowary, is found in Australia. Not three of the actual birds, three of the species. The bird's native habitats include tropical rainforests of Queensland, Papua New Guinea, which is across the water from those Queensland rainforests and some surrounding islands. The southern cassowary has a distinct look, with Queensland environmental officials describing its characteristic black plumage, beautiful plumage, a tall brown helmet on top of its head, and a dagger-shaped claw attached to its innermost toe on each of its feet. You don't want to mess with this bird. They're Australia's heaviest bird, with females weighing up to 165 pounds and males weighing up to 120. The sighting of the Bengal Bay was reported to Australia's Department of Environmental Science on October 31st. A visitor initially alerted Nikita McDowell, a Bengal Bay campground host, after spotting the cassowary swimming about 200 meters or 650 feet offshore. McDowell told Queensland government officials that she followed advice from local wild carers and the Queensland Parks and Wildlife Service to monitor the bird until it moved on when ready. I went to make some coffee, and when I returned, it was gone, she said. Cassowaries are shy and typically hard to spot, according to Library of Congress, which writes in the description of the world's most dangerous bird that although the creatures are powerful, they are not overly aggressive and attacks are rare. The birds can do a lot of damage if they are provoked, though, and the library notes that some attacks in the past have been deadly. A cassowary killed its owner on the man's farm near Gainesville, Florida in 2019. The bird apparently attacked him when he fell in its vicinity, as authorities said at the time. They believe the owner, 75-year-old Marvin Howes, was breeding cassowaries on his property. While they cannot fly, cassowaries are strong swimmers and on land have been clocked running up to speeds of 31 miles per hour. In Australia, the southern cassowary is an important contributor to the rainforest ecosystems as it spreads the seeds of rainforest trees, the government said, adding that some of these seeds are too large for any other animal to swallow and disperse them. Also can carry coconuts, although it does not fly to England. The southern population of the southern cassowary is listed as endangered under the National Nature Conservation Act of 1992, and it's important that sick, injured, and orphan cassowaries are reported to the QPWS, said Stephen Clow, a wildlife officer, in a statement about the Bengal Bay sighting to the Queensland government. The We're not sure how long this animal was in the water or why it went for a swim, but the footage is astonishing, he said. There's your story on the Southern Cassowary, the world's most dangerous bird. Never played for the world's most dangerous band, though.
Have you ever seen one? They're crazy.
Yeah, looking at a picture of one.
It's like not a real animal, but it is. But it's like not.
It just comes crawling out of the water, too. That's really scary. It's like, what's that thing gonna do? Gets on the land. Apparently, this thing just went and shook itself off and puked. That's all it did. And then the lady went for a smoke. Yeah. She went for coffee and then came back and was gone. Back into the jungles of Australia and Queensland.
Okay. In culture news, speaking of things from the prehistoric age, probably, study reveals Stone Age babies belonging to tribes may have received better parenting. As the saying goes, it takes a village. And unfortunately, in our current society, we do not raise children in a village, and that's why we're all socially awkward. That's my theory, anyways. This is from Theo Ferrand on Euronews Culture. The study suggests that children might be evolutionary primed to expect a higher level of caregiver involvement than was typically in modern Western families. You don't say. They say it takes a village to raise a child, and as it turns out, there might be some truth to that. A recent study suggests that while modern parents assume more child care responsibilities compared to their Stone Age ancestors, this approach may result in less effective parenting. Anthropologists from Cambridge University delved into the child care practices of the Mendeli Bakya, a semi-nomadic tribe in the Democratic Republic of Congo, to explore how traditional societies care for their youngsters. Let me try that again. Mabendeli Bayaka. I think that's probably how you say it. We all have the same mouth. In contrast to the contemporary parenting where children are primarily cared for by their parents, who don't have time for them because they also have to go to work so they can feed and pay for the house that the child lives in, the Bayaka have a communal parenting system with more than 10 members of the tribe often attending to a child's needs. This communal approach allowed children to benefit from approximately 9 hours of close contact with various members of the tribe, allowing mothers the opportunity to work and rest. It also gives the child like a different perspective on how humans are different. Because there is something really weird that happens as a child that I'm sure everyone here can relate to, which is you realize your parents are people at some point. Something in your brain happens, you go, wait, that's a person with dreams and hopes. And before that, they're just dad and mom. Objects, really. They're really just objects to you. Just passive existences in your life with no other cares except for you. And then at some point you realize, wait, shit, they have other shit going on that has nothing to do with me. And then your whole world shatters. Whereas here, you probably, as a child, you learn instantly, hey, Mom's got some stuff going on. I don't have to bother her. Let me go talk to my cousin. In contrast, infants in Canada and Holland receive less than half an hour of close contact per day, highlighting a stark difference. A significant portion of this interaction involves skin-to-skin contact, a type of connection that is now acknowledged by medical professionals for a range of physical and emotional advantages, including helping to regulate a baby's heart rate, breathing, as well as enhancing brain development. For more than 90% of our evolutionary history, we lived as hunter-gatherers, she said Dr. Nicole Chaudarny, the author of the study. Therefore, contemporary hunter-gatherer societies like the Bayaka can offer clues to whether there are certain child-rearing systems to which infants and their mothers may be psychologically adapted. A study conducted in the Democratic Republic of Congo revealed a caregiver-to-child ratio exceeding 5-1, a stark contrast to the ratios found in modern homes or nurseries. The researchers proposed that children may be evolutionally primed to expect high levels of physical contact and care, along with personal attention from multiple caregivers beyond their biological parents. The team concluded that throughout human history and prehistory, parents have never faced the same pressures regarding a lack of support as they do today. Dr. Annie Swanpool, a child psychiatrist from Ilsimium Healthcare, highlighted that numerous benefits of supporting mothers, including reducing the risk of neglect and abuse, buffering against family adversity and enhancing maternal well-being. Yeah, I'm sure it's really easy to deal with that postpartum depression if you can just, give your baby over to 5 other people while you deal with all of that. But now, instead of having support, you just throw your baby in the trash can because you freak out because you're like, oh God, I don't want to take care of this thing no more.
I got no structure.
Yeah. It's really crazy how inhuman we treat mothers. Like, you gave birth, just be a slave to your child for the rest of your life. Me, I'm gonna go over here.
Factory.
Yeah.
Shut up, you baby factory.
All right, that's my story, so.
Well, definitely, children should experience as many adults as possible.
Yeah.
Your brother-in-law, the bum, the guy who believes in chemtrails, all of the idiots out there. Doesn't matter. As long as they're not child molesters, of course. But you don't leave them alone with a guy, guy wearing a trench coat, Hey, trench coat guy, watch my kid. All right. I don't know. Not that. But I'm sure a lot of these villages would have swift punishment for anyone who hurt a child.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I don't know. I'm not there. I would imagine hurting a child is like, what the hell's wrong with you? Anyway, who's going to defend this village when we're old? You? I don't think so. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Today in this day in history, in 42 BC, Tiberius, the second Roman emperor and adopted son of Augustus, was born, which is weird because until Augustus and Julius Caesar basically created July and August, we only had 10 months. So how do we know what day they were born? We only had 10 months. Okay, anyway. 1272, British monarchy. Henry III died at the age of 65. In 1632, Swedish King Gustav II Adolf died during the Battle of Lutzen. Those forces were victorious. His cause was skillfully directed by his chief advisor, Axel Oxenstierna. In 1776, Saint Eustachius became the first foreign government to recognize the fledgling United States. Some country I never heard of became the first foreign government to recognize the United States. 1836, Kalakua, the last and second to last monarch of Hawaii, was born. In 1855, British explorer David Livingstone was the first European to see Victoria Falls, and he helped her up. Just kidding.
Dad joke warning.
All right. 1922, Portuguese novelist José Saramago, who won the 1998 Nobel Prize for Literature, was born. 1960, Clark Gable died of a heart attack just days after finishing the movie The Misfits with Marilyn Monroe. 1973, the Trans-Alaska Pipeline Authorization Act was signed into by President Nixon. The pipeline, which connects the oil fields of Prudhoe Bay in northern Alaska with the harbor at Valdez, became operational 4 years later. 2006, American economist Milton Friedman died at the age of 98. He won the 1976 Nobel Prize for Economics. Featured event, 1988, election of Bhutto as Pakistan's Prime Minister. And Nazir Bhutto, elected Prime Minister of Pakistan on this day in 1988, became the first woman in modern history to lead a Muslim country, serving as the Prime Minister from 88 to 1990, and again from 93 to 96.
Wow, she got re-elected too. That's impressive.
And assassinated. W.C. Handy, American composer. Florence was born on this day, November 16th, in 1873, in Florence, Alabama. And his birthday is on the 16th. I'm not sure why we're putting it up today. There we are. This is the way Britannica does it. They said, screw it. We can't wait till tomorrow. Okay. 1896, also the birthday of Oswald Mosley, English politician. Burgess Meredith, 1907, famously played Rocky's manager, American actor and director. 1930, Chinua Achebe, a Nigerian author. was born. 1938, Robert Nozick, American philosopher, was born. And 1964 is birthday for Canadian musician and singer Diana Krall. And a national day. That's Krall, Krall. Today's National Day calendar is America Recycles Day. It is National Philanthropy Day. So as you're giving money away and recycling cans, it's also National Clean Out Your Refrigerator Day, which I will probably actually do now.
Ours is we just emptied our refrigerator, so we ate everything in there.
Yeah, I'm not going to eat everything in there. I'm going to clean it out. National Bundt Day, which if there's a Bundt in there, it probably went bad in like 24 hours. Don't put those things in the fridge. You're just going to get mold. National Spicy Hermit Cookie Day. Okay. Right on. And it's National Raisin Bran Cereal Day. National Education Support Professionals Day. And that's all the days it is today. Back to you as we begin a new feature today. Go ahead.
All right. Am I doing it or you're doing it? You're doing it. Okay. This has
you're
been
doing
Allison
it,
here.
I'll just say goodbye. You're doing it. Okay.
I'm doing it and you're going to say goodbye. Okay.
That's it.
This has been Allison here from the Netherlands. I guess Rog will say goodbye and then I'll do it. I'll do the thing.
This is Roger with the new Before Coffee sign off.
This is your mic drop moment.
Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your solution every
Hold it. No, sit down. Sit down. Okay, you know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond? Mr.
Hold
Chairman?
it. Hold it. If
Hold
we
on.
can, no,
This is
I have
what
the
he
mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't. This is a hearing. And God knows the American people have enough of contempt for Congress. Let's not
I don't
make
like
it worse.
thugs and bullies.
You have,
And that's
you
what-
have
I don't
the
like
right-
you, because you
Hold
just
it.
described yourself.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons. And follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.